The first time he handed me money, I thought it was a mistake. Not a small mistake either. A crisp stack of bills folded neatly inside a white envelope with my name written on it in careful handwriting. The kind of handwriting that looks patient, thoughtful, intentional. And that should have been my first warning, because generosity isn't always kindness. Sometimes it's a door. And sometimes you don't realize you've walked through it until it's already closed behind you. I never meant to hide anything from my friend. Not her. Especially not her. But if I'm being honest, the lie didn't start with words. It started with silence. And by the time she asked me the question I had been dreading for months, it was already too late to tell the truth. It all started the winter my life quietly fell apart. From the outside, everything looked fine. I still had my apartment, my job, my routines. I still smiled when people talked to me. Still posted normal things online, pictures of coffee, sunsets, little pieces of a life that looked stable enough. But stability can be an illusion. And mine shattered the day my manager called me into his office and closed the door. "I'm really sorry," he said. Those 4 words, that tone. I knew what was coming before he even said it. Budget cuts, downsizing, nothing personal. It's never personal. Except it is. I remember nodding like I understood, like I was mature about it, like I was one of those people who takes bad news gracefully. Inside, though, it felt like someone had quietly removed the floor beneath me. I didn't tell anyone right away. Not my parents, not my neighbors. And not even her. Sarah had been my best friend for 8 years. Oh, 8 years of late-night calls, birthday dinners, shared secrets. She was the kind of friend people hope to find, but rarely do. Loyal, honest, the kind of person who shows up early and stays late. She also had something else. Stability. A house, a marriage, a life that looked solid. Her husband Daniel was part of that life. Quiet, polite, always welcoming whenever I came over. The kind of man who remembered small details, how I liked my tea, what kind of snacks I preferred. He was generous in the way some people naturally are. Not flashy, not loud, just steady. Back then, it felt comforting. Looking back now, I wonder if that's when things began shifting. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a way you could point at and say, "There, that's the moment everything changed." It was smaller than that. Slower. Like a crack spreading through glass. The first month after I lost my job, I survived on savings. The second month, I started getting nervous. By the third month, I started lying. "Work's been busy," I told Sarah when she asked why I hadn't visited. "I'm just tired," I said when she noticed I sounded different on the phone. She believed me. Of course she did. That's what friends do. But lies have weight, and the more you carry them, the heavier they become. Eventually, the truth started slipping through in small ways. Like the afternoon she stopped by unannounced. I remember hearing the knock and freezing because somehow I knew that I couldn't pretend everything was okay if she walked inside. But Sarah has always been persistent. By the third knock, I opened the door. Her smile faded almost immediately. "What's wrong?" she asked. That's the thing about real friends. They don't ask if something's wrong. They ask what it is. I tried to brush it off. I really did. But exhaustion makes liars clumsy. And within minutes, I was sitting on the couch telling her everything. The job, the bills, the fear that sat on my chest every morning before I even opened my eyes. She didn't judge me. She didn't lecture me. She just listened. And then she hugged me. "It's going to be okay," she said. I wanted to believe her. I really did. That night, she insisted I come over for dinner. "No excuses," she said. "You need real food." I almost said no. Pride is a stubborn thing. But hunger is more stubborn. So I went. Dinner was warm and simple and comforting in a way I hadn't realized I needed. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to normal. We talked about small things, movies, weather, random stories from years ago. And then, at some point, Sarah got a phone call and stepped into the other room. That's when Daniel sat down across from me. He didn't say anything right away, just studied me in that quiet way of his. "You okay?" he asked eventually. It was such a simple question, but something about it made my chest tighten. "I will be," I said. He nodded slowly, like he understood more than I'd actually said. And then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a white envelope. "This might help," he said. I stared at it. "What is it?" "Just take it." I hesitated. "I can't." "You can," he said gently. "And you can pay it back whenever." There was no pressure in his voice, no expectation, just calm certainty. I took the envelope. That was the moment everything started changing, though I didn't know it yet. Inside was more money than I expected. Enough to cover rent. Enough to breathe again. I cried that night after I got home. Not because I was sad, but because I was relieved. Relief can make you overlook things you'd normally question. Like why he didn't mention it to Sarah. Like why he handed it to me privately. Like why he told me, no need to make a big deal about it. At first, I told myself it didn't matter. Help is help after all. But secrets have a way of growing. A few weeks later, he texted me. Just a simple message asking if I'd found work yet. I told him no. He said he understood. Then he asked if I needed anything. I should have said no. Instead, I hesitated. And hesitation can be dangerous because sometimes it turns into permission. The second envelope came on a rainy afternoon when I stopped by to return a dish Sarah had lent me. She wasn't home yet. Daniel was. He handed it to me like it was nothing, like it was routine, like it was normal. And maybe that's what made it so easy to accept. Weeks passed, then months. I found part-time work, but it wasn't enough. And every time things got tight, somehow he knew. Another envelope, another quiet exchange, another secret added to the pile. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I'd pay him back. I told myself Sarah didn't need to worry about it. But lies don't stay contained forever. They leak out, usually when you least expect it. The night everything came apart started like any other. Sarah invited me over for dinner again. She sounded happy, lighter than usual. "I have news," she said. I remember feeling a strange knot in my stomach when she said that. Like some part of me already knew that whatever she was about to say would change everything. Dinner was normal at first. Too normal. The kind of normal that feels staged when you look back on it later. Halfway through the meal, Sarah reached across the table and squeezed Daniel's hand. "I got a promotion," she said. I smiled immediately. "That's amazing." And it was. She had worked hard for it. She deserved it more than anyone I knew. But then she said something else. "And Daniel says we should start saving more seriously now." My stomach dropped. Saving money. Numbers. Secrets. I kept my smile in place, but it felt fragile, like glass. "That's a great idea," I said. Daniel didn't look at me. Not once. And somehow that felt worse than if he had. The conversation moved on. But the knot in my stomach stayed, tightening, growing heavier. And then came the moment I had been dreading without even knowing it. Everything inside me went still. Daniel froze too, just for a second. But Sarah noticed. "What was that about?" she asked. Silence filled the room. Heavy, thick, unavoidable. And in that silence, I realized something terrifying. It wasn't just my secret anymore. It was his, too. And secrets shared between two people have a strange kind of gravity. They pull things together. And sometimes they pull everything else apart. Daniel cleared his throat. "It was nothing," he said. But Sarah frowned. "You said it was a lot." I couldn't breathe. Not properly, not fully. And then she looked at me. Not suspiciously, not accusingly. Just curiously. But sometimes curiosity is the beginning of the end. "Do either of you know what happened to it?" she asked. And that was the moment I understood something I wish I had realized months earlier. Generosity can feel like warmth, like safety, like rescue. But sometimes it's just the beginning of a story you never meant to be part of. And sometimes the hardest part isn't telling the truth. It's realizing how long you've been hiding it. If you've ever kept a secret you wish you could take back, you probably understand how this feels. And if this story made you feel something, let me know. Sometimes sharing is the only way to stop carrying things alone.